Hello everyone. This is a video I didn't think I'd ever have to make or really ever wanted to make, but with the recent kelp pill stuff in the community, I figured I owe everyone my side of things. I don't like having to talk about this at all. I'd rather just laugh at Lauren dancing around with a pillow, but there are times you can't ignore things and just sweep it under the rug. Overall, I think the community understands this, and there's been a lot of positive support to the people who are affected by her. And I think that's what we need to keep doing. I know this has been sort of a stressful thing for a lot of people and unaware of what to think or who to believe. I know people will say, well, why bring this up at this point if she's already gone? It doesn't matter, which is a fair point. I just think I owe everyone an explanation of my side of things. People need to stand up for what's right, and I'm glad most of us are. This isn't a personal attack on kelp or anything like that. This is more, to me, about being consistent as a community when calling out things that are inappropriate. If I, for example, said half of the stuff that she has said to people in the context that she did, I know I would have been exposed and kicked out of the community a long time ago. I just say there shouldn't be a double standard. It should go both ways. If you're inappropriate, it shouldn't matter who you are. The behavior can't be tolerated. You shouldn't get a free pass on anything. There's a lot of people that are rightly asking for proof and before they make any judgment, which is a smart thing to do. You can't just go off what someone says. We know that, but it should speak when people like Clobber, who have been in this community a long time and have proven that they do things in a trustworthy manner. The first thing I want to say is I don't consider myself to be a victim of anything. She did some things that I felt uncomfortable at the time with, but nothing over the top like, say, Jorn or someone like that did. It was just subtle hints that made me feel uncomfortable. First of all, I didn't know that she did this to other male members of the community. I had no idea until after the fact. Had I known this was a common thing, I would have definitely addressed things in a different manner, but I didn't have that information at the time, so I'm telling you my experience and how I feel. That's all I'm doing. You don't have to agree, that's fine. I'm not here to tell other people what to think. Finding out that other people have gone through similar experiences and stuff made me realize that sharing my experience might help the overall picture of it. The hypocrisy of it all really made me angry because here she is talking about this Jessie person and she does similar stuff. She doesn't see it. The thing that really disappoints me about all of this is her response to it. Her apology seems sort of wishy-washy, Jordan-esque type apology, I guess you could call it. Just damage control, basically, in my opinion. I blocked her before she started this apology tour, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if she reached out to me or not. If she did, I wouldn't have seen it, so I can't say one way or the other. But her apology to me isn't important, and I don't really want to hear it anyway. I don't feel it would be genuine at this point. If she wants to apologize, all she has to do is reflect on what she did and try to be a better person for it. That's all I care about. I just want her to understand that this community isn't the place for such behavior. You would think people would understand that by now, after Joran and after everything. Now, before I get into the screenshots and stuff, I just want to say I'm not the kind of guy that would normally share private conversations publicly, but she shared it with other people. Now, the only reason I deleted my side of the chat with her on her end is because I knew she wouldn't have any regard or even probably notice that there was some personal things in there that I didn't really want out in the public. My first name, my general area where I live, etc. It's not the end of the world if it got out, but still, you have to respect someone's privacy. I was smart enough not to give her my real last name or my address or social security number, unlike someone we know. Now, she has something that I supposedly said. She's so clever that she does have my side of the chat, obviously. If she has something that I said that somehow exonerates this behavior, by all means share it.
Go ahead and put it on.
I know it's not in there. I'm not afraid of anything. I have nothing to hide. I didn't delete my channel. I'm not hiding under a fake account in the comments. I don't hold any hate towards her. I just think she needs to take a step back and truly examine the behavior that got her to this point. One thing I want to make clear is that no one is accusing her of going after minors or anything like that. I think the best way to describe it would probably be like sort of compare it to a sexual harassment case at work or something like that. I have nothing to hide with my conversation. I did nothing to provoke anything. I didn't reciprocate anything. I had conversations with her that I did enjoy, that were just friendly in nature, and if it stuck to that, there wouldn't have been any issue. We talked about our mutual fascination with owls and pets, blueberries, stuff like that. Lauren, obviously, and the other predators. But when she started in with her BDSM, or whatever you want to call it, talk, that's when things crossed the line, in my opinion. At the time, I didn't really... I noticed it, obviously, and it made me feel uncomfortable, but I didn't know that this was a common pattern with her, and it's definitely a pattern she needs to get out of. When it comes to the pictures, I know there's pictures of her out there and stuff, but for me, this isn't what this is about. It's more about her actions and her behavior more than anything else. When she first contacted me, it was sort of out of the blue. I didn't know what to think, but I thought maybe she was just being friendly, and I was the same back. She was right. Our conversation was not that long. We'd talk for like a day or so, and there'd be months in between, and she'd contact again sometimes, or maybe I contacted her a few times. I can't quite remember, but it definitely wasn't an ongoing thing. I will give her that. It just happened a few times. For a little backstory, this is my new Sting Coming video that I made, and this was a parody of the Chris Hansen tag-along sting he did with the paddle guy, and they had the camera under the leaf and all that silly stuff. So I made a parody of it, and I used kayak paddles, canoe paddles, and stuff in the video as a parody to the paddle guy. She took that and sort of ran with it, in my opinion, to introduce the BDSM stuff, which I had no interest in going down that road with her with. As you can see, she started to ask about this Secretary movie, asked if I'd seen it or whatever, said that the paddle guy brought it with him to the house and was curious if I had seen it. Now, that's really not relevant to the paddle guy, really, to bring that up and ask me if I've seen it. It was a subtle way of her to get into the topic of the paddle stuff or the BDSM stuff. I try to change the subject and go on to other things, and then she says, just to circle back, and she tries to ask again about it, trying to see if I want to go down that road, I guess, and I wasn't interested. I could see what she was trying to do, and I wasn't going to play that game, so I changed the subject and just moved on. And months later, I find out that she had done this with a lot of other community members and done things that were far more concrete than my stuff was. If you don't think my stuff is really that bad, well, my side is just a little snippet of her behavior. I'm not sure exactly what all the other people have coming out, but from what I've seen, mine is on the milder end of it. And I will admit that I can be kind of naive with this stuff sometimes. I'm sort of the type of guy that has to be hit on the head with a 2x4 to take hints sometimes. But I did notice in this instance there was more going on than just TCAP conversation. Or at least attempted to be more than that on her part. My part, I had no interest in that. I don't know if this one was a joke or what, but you can read in between the lines of it. Now, obviously, I can't tell anyone what to think or how to feel, so I'm just giving my story. There was things maybe I could have misinterpreted some, but not all of it. I know that. In live streams, I'd always get the paddle emojis. I always just figured it was a reference to the paddle video and paddle predator, which I think some of it might have been. But at the same time, I think it was also the other stuff. It wasn't just about the paddle predator guy. Now this is something that sort of highlights the manipulative behavior. I was in a wine lover stream one day and I received a private message, correcting something that was being said on there. I don't know if she wanted me to go on there and correct them or what. It was very odd to me at the time. Didn't make much sense why she came to me with this information, which I already knew anyway. I understand criticism that this might not be that compelling to you or doesn't show much, really. That's fine. It's not going to bother me if someone disagrees. When I first heard about the other people and stuff, I didn't think my story was very compelling and worthwhile sharing, but it does help paint the overall picture of the situation. Sort of gives people a pattern of behavior. I understand people might think this is useless drama, but it's really more than that. Anyone that's critical of it, I would just say, if Jordan said this stuff, I think the reaction would be different, and it shouldn't be. The reaction should be the same no matter who it is. The standard should be the same for everybody. This isn't a vendetta or anything, at least on my part of this. People always say, why didn't you just go to her privately? Because I saw what other people did trying to go privately to her, and she just deflected and blamed everyone for misinterpreting things or stuff like that, trying to deflect and put people against the people speaking out. I understand people say there's a huge difference between people like Lauren and her, which I won't argue with. She didn't go after minors or anything like that, but she did do things that made people uncomfortable. She pushed her fetish stuff on the people who didn't want to participate in it. She's had a lot of breaks that I don't think someone like Jordan would have had in her position. That's the biggest thing I want people to take away from this, is it's not necessarily a personal thing. It's just, if we're going to call out one person, we have to call out everyone for those actions. It's just, in my opinion, we need to, if someone's doing something inappropriate or making someone uncomfortable, it needs to be addressed. She was asked privately to stop months ago, and she was made aware, but she decided to deflect and consider it a witch hunt or something like that, I guess. Kelp had a chance to correct her path and do the right thing, and people she was around were warned of she was doing stuff that wasn't necessarily appropriate. But at the end of the day, it's over with, as far as I'm concerned. I shared my side. I hope she moves on and becomes better for it. Everyone is free to their own opinion, of course. I don't claim to be the expert on everything. Some would probably say I'm not an expert on anything, but I've been around a while, so I've seen this stuff happen before. You would think people in the TCAP community would know the dangers of the online chats and stuff like that more than anyone, but it seems that not everyone does. Me personally, I think face-to-face, as Lauren says, is the time and place to do a lot of that, but no one cares what adults do, as Chris Hansen says, and they're free to talk how they want to talk. I'd just say if you're going to engage in something like that, make sure it goes both ways. Going in full bore right from the beginning isn't a smart thing to do. If someone tries to change the subject or deflect, that should be a good sign to take the hint and get back on topic and understand that that other person isn't comfortable with that line of conversation. This should be basic stuff for most people, but this all can be avoided rather easily if people just respect the other person they're talking with, don't do unsolicited things or trying to introduce stuff that others aren't comfortable with. So, that's all I got to say about that. There's no reason at all for anyone to be afraid of anyone else in the community. I'm certainly not afraid of anybody. There's some people, they just care about their channel or popularity or whatever, and they'll manipulate, coerce people, straight out lie, just to get people on their side and turn others against people who stand up to them or disagree with them, I guess. But I know there was some people under these fake accounts that were saying they were going to take channels down and stuff, and it's laughable to think that would be a major effect on my life at all. I do this for fun. It's not something I take seriously. Anyone who's seen my videos can tell that. It's not like it's a high production value thing. Just a fun little side project. I do. The small group of people that enjoy my stuff, I appreciate and everything. I'm glad they get my sense of humor. But at the end of the day, if my channel is gone, it's not like it's something I'm going to lose sleep over at night. I have other things in my life that are more important. This is just a little thing I do on the side for fun. So my channel's under the radar, which I enjoy. I wouldn't want a big channel. Not in it for money, obviously. I don't have a monetized channel or anything like that. Just do it for fun. A small group that I respect and who enjoy my stuff, I'm happy to have them. And that's all that I care about. I can just make another channel. It's not like it's a big deal. Be my guest. Go right ahead and try or do it, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Standing up and doing the right thing is more of a priority to me. So that's that. They can hide behind their alternate accounts in the comments and badmouth me or whatever all they want. It's not like it's going to affect me in any way. I'm thick-skinned. I can handle criticism. I've criticized myself over this quite a bit. I know there's things I could have done differently, but at the time I did what I thought was the best decision, and so I'm not going to go back and worry about what I could have done different. It's over now. Hopefully this whole thing is over now, and we all can get back to having fun again. That's what I really want to do. I think that's what everyone wants to do, and I think we can do that. Hopefully this is the last of this type of issue we have. I understand that people are sick of this type of stuff, which I agree, but I don't think this is something to quit the community over, in my opinion. I really want to thank Mr. Wongberger. He led the charge on this for a long time and took a lot of criticism, and he did the right thing even though it wasn't the most popular decision at the time. Lost friends over this. So we all need to thank him, and also Clobber. Clobber put his reputation on the line to expose this. Hearing that Clobber was involved and knowing all the hard work Mr. Wongberger had put into all this, I changed my mind and decided to come forward somewhat. Not for my sake, but for the sake of the people she let down and the people she affected far worse than I was affected by it. I don't expect anyone's sympathy or anything like that. The people that were affected the most and the people she lied to about this stuff are the ones that I feel deserve support. And I've been very impressed with the overall reaction to this in the community. So hopefully I helped clear up a little bit of it anyway. I know there's a lot still that is out there from other people. That's not my thing to say. I just know my story and what I have. Hopefully now we'll all get along better, and I think the community does have a bright future. Definitely not the end of Lorne. I think the Lorneography part will live on for a long, long time from now. We got the Heelborn robot stuff, which is really, really good. Blue Boy stuff and the hilarious dancing videos. I think the future is bright for the community overall. So that's what I got to say. I appreciate everyone for listening and hearing my take on it. I don't hate kelp. I hope she does reflect and makes positive changes. So that's all I got to say about that. I'm going to go sit in my chair. Bye.